YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So, I gotta do something with this ball. It's too strong to use in molding, and obviously this won't work at Boston Bowl, not at all. So, I would like to plug this, and then I want to try something new. I want to try Moe Pinel's way of laying out a ball for two-handers.
So look at this. These artisan pigments, man, I'm telling you. I don't know why they don't send these with the bowling coloring. They just give you those stupid drops that don't have any shine to them. I mean, yeah, they're probably good for solids, but for pearls, I mean, look at this. Onyx. The fingers are in the black section of the ball. Thank God it's not like right on the part where it's blended, because I don't exactly know how I would do that. Maybe I would mix up a batch of this and a batch of something green and kind of swirl them together at the last second. I don't know. But we're going to use that. Alright, so we're gonna let that chillax for a little bit. That looks pretty good. So bowling's obviously ramping up because I'm getting a lot more requests for ball repairs. And here's one of them that just came to me. See, a lot of the people at the bowling alley that I go to, they see me there all the time. And, you know, they usually flag me down before I get out of the building. Like, hey, I need you to fix this. I'm like, okay. Like, as long as you don't need the ball back, because I'm not, you know, I'm not driving back. Like, no problem. No rush, give it back whenever. So, this is a new one for me. I've never had to plug a hole where they inserted one of these thumb liners. So I hope that's not hard to get out. And also I noticed that, and I see this a lot, around the finger holes and thumb holes. And I've seen some really bad ones where people let it go and there'll be like huge holes or just chunks missing from around the finger holes. And they're like, can you like just fill that in? I'm like, it's not as easy as just filling it in. You have to cut out the cancer, and then you have to plug the holes and then re-drill them in the same spots. Because for finishing and sanding, you can't really do it around a finger hole. So while I'm doing this one anyway, I'm gonna have the tools out. I figure, you know, I'll give this thing a go. So I almost forgot, I really wanted to mention this, and I hope people don't get like irritated by it, because I know, like me, I'm a Motive fan. Their balls are made in the US, and I mean, just look at the logos on them. The logo is the cover stock. That takes extra time, care, and effort to do that. All these other companies, they just take something and scratch it into the ball and then put color in. But every time you sand the ball down, that starts to disappear. That does not. This is part of the ball. But, so my storm ball, I noticed that the cover stock is very delicate. Like, it doesn't take a hit well. I've noticed scratches and scuffs, they just come out of nowhere, and then I'm bowling on the same lane with a motive ball, and it comes back fine every time. And like I was saying with the caving in finger holes, I had a radical ball one time, and it was doing the exact same thing around the finger holes. It started to cave in. These balls are made in Mexico. Those are made in the US. I don't know, I'm pretty sure Storm I think is made in the US. Almost 100% sure. But my storm ball, around the finger holes, they're caving in already. And the ball is my newest ball. All my motive balls are still fine. The Venom Shock Pearl that I have is the oldest ball I have and probably the best looking out of all of them. So I just figured, I just wanted to add that little tidbit in. It's just an observation. I'm not saying the other companies are bad. I'm just saying I like motive. Alright, so the old flathead trick isn't going to work. So we're going to go with a 1/4 inch sharp woodworking chisel and a mallet. See if I can slice this down the side somehow. Oh yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. I don't know if this is the correct way, but it's my way. Alright, so once you get the custom thumb out and get it as clean as you can, rough up the inside of the hole, you can see that cracking? It's starting right there, and then there's some more right here. So this hole was starting to collapse where the cover stock was. But you can see inside, this is where the inner core, this is the dynamic core, this blue. This is a Brunswick product, or Radical. Same thing. And I like this dynamic core. I like what they're doing with this. And then you have your cover stock right here, this top part. So it looks like, if you look down, the dynamic core and the ball's core at the bottom, which is a different color, it's like cement gray. Then you got the blue filler material dynamic core, and then you have your cover stock, and the cover stock is cracking. So I'm filling this hole anyway. So why not take the router, set it so that it goes all the way down to the bottom of just the cover stock, and use the router to cut out right up to these cracks. All the cancer, just get rid of it. Because we're plugging this area anyway, so we could hopefully make it stronger and last longer for the guy. If we just plug it and this stuff starts to crack and fall out, he's going to be right back to me saying, hey, it didn't last. You did a crappy job. I don't do crappy jobs. Alright, there it is. We just cut the cover stock out right down to the dynamic core. We didn't want to We don't want to touch that dynamic core. But all of the cancer is cut out now. So now we go to fill the hole. Alright, so if you have a radical results, I used half a Barbie shovel of copper and half a Barbie shovel of golden sand. And you saw that I filled up the hole most of the way, but I stopped. I stopped the pour right before we reached the actual cover stock. And then I took 2 drops of red, dropped it in, and just did a couple little swirls, and that's it, and dumped it. So there's the cover stock. Kind of goldish with some red. There's the pour. Not too shabby. I'm telling you, man, those artisan pigments are a must, along with the vice drops for rare occasions. But most pearls are going to be just this stuff, and you're good to go. All right, this is the results pearl. All finished up. There's the filled thumb hole with all the cancer cut out. It's not a bad color match. You always notice it because you can't get the same swirl effect. Or maybe you can somehow. I don't know. I'm gonna work on it, but I'm definitely starting to get my coloring pretty close. And I follow the directions with the resin. It says, you know, it's a 50-50 mix. But it dries so fast that it causes bubbles. Little tiny bubbles. And I know it's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter because a lot of times these cover stocks will come with bubbles in them from the factory. But I'm going to try sometime, and I'll probably try it on one of my balls, just in case, like, you have to do 50-50. But I might try putting a little bit less of the Part B hardener in the mix and see if that'll help it dry a little bit slower and maybe stop those little bubbles. All right, now that we got the ball plugged, I want to try. I know I've watched the video before and I kind of understand, but I just wanted to freshen up, and I figured we can do it together. I want to watch Mr. Moe in action and then lay this ball out while watching the video. We need to learn from the commander-in-chief of bowling. This guy knows more about bowling than I think anyone on this earth, or he did, know. But we really need to pay attention and take what he's taught, grab onto that information, and pass it out to others, keeping his memory alive. This guy has done so much for the sport. I don't think the balls would be the way they are today without him. I truly believe that. He's the pioneer of bowling. So I grabbed all the grease pencil I have left, these little nubs. It's insane, like anything with a bowling name on it is expensive. These are $3 a piece. And to get free shipping, you have to order over $30 worth of stuff. So I just ordered $40 worth of pencils. And I got like 12 of them. Alright, so let's start this up. Let's see how this works.
Hi everybody, I'm Moe Pinel and this is Bowling Science. And if you don't recognize me, I'm from Radical Bowling Technologies. sporting my post-pandemic hairdo.
Looking
just
good.
For this clip.
Looking
and we're going
good.
to get into learning how to lay out balls for no-thumb bowlers. So let's get going. So what you need to lay out balls for no-thumb bowlers is a Pro Sec, some grease pencils, ball cups, a little ingenuity, and a 3-coordinate system. The 3-coordinate systems will be pin to PAP distance, PSA to PAP distance, and pin above the ring finger line. That's not a VLS or any other system. It is just a 3-coordinate system so that you can get the proper lines on a ball so you get the layout you're looking for no-thumb bowlers. The first ball we're going to do is the new Radical Bonus, which is a symmetrical ball. Now the coordinates we need to know is how far is the pin going to be from the PAP? It's 2 3/4 inches. How far is the PSA, theoretical PSA, going to be from the PAP? That's 6 1/4, and the pin is going to be 1 1/4 inches above the ring finger line. 3 coordinates. So the first thing I do.
Okay. I think I got what he was just saying. Hopefully. So the layout I had on this ball was a 5-inch pin to PAP and a 4-inch PSA to PAP. So for this layout, I was going to leave the pin to PAP the same and just move the PSA. But after watching a couple other videos, like that Nick Parr video, where he, this is my tester layout at 5.5. I was like, oh, he's putting a 5.5 on it. So I think I'm going to stick with, I've tried short pin layouts before, and I wasn't really a fan of them. Especially with a pearl ball. So I think I'm gonna do a 5.5 pin to PAP and a 5.5 PSA to PAP and see what happens. And I'm gonna stick with whatever he's using for a pin above the ring finger line. I'm gonna just use what he's using. You know, I don't want it too far above, and I don't want it pinned down. I want it just, just above. That's usually the sweet spot for a lot of people, so let's get back into it.
Is swing an arc from the pin 2 3/4 inches. PAP's got to be on that arc. Then I'm going to locate the PSA, theoretically, is 6 3/4 from the pin through the CG. So I'll mark it theoretical PSA. Okay, there you are. All right, now 2 3/4 from here, 6 1/4 from here.
Sorry, I had to pause it. So I just swung the 5.5. Now this is an asymmetrical ball, so this already has the PSA. It's right there. This has the pin, the CG, right there, that little dot, and the PSA. So he was doing a symmetric, so he was just drawing the line and putting the PSA where it needs to be. I wonder if it's the same. It's 6 3/4 from the pin to the PSA on this symmetrical ball. 6 3/4, but it does not go through the CG. But I remember watching on one of his other videos that he was saying that the CG, it doesn't matter. You can put it wherever. It's the same. But it's kind of a layout tool, so everyone just kind of uses it.
All right, so we got the 5.5 pin arc. Squeak. Now 5.5 arc. From the PSA. Let's clean that up. Five and a half, 5.5. On to the next one.
I didn't quite get it, but that's okay, don't worry about it. Go back and do your 2 3/4. That's where the PAP is gonna be. Now, his PAP is 6 over by 1/8 up. So that's where that has to end up. Now, the next thing I need to know is how far is the pin above the ring finger line? And we said it's going to be 1 1/4 inches. So I'm going to measure, to give me a little extra room, 1.5 inches to allow for the extra 1/4 inch to allow for the thickness of the hole. So there we are. So that's 1.5 inches. His PAP is 1/8 up, so I go 1/8 down. So I connect those 2 lines, and that's called the midline. It's the horizontal line that goes through his finger.
Oh, these grease pencils, man. Can't push too hard. All right. I might have to back that up, sorry.
Up, so I go 1/8 down. So I connect those 2 lines, and that's called the midline. It's the horizontal line that goes through his finger holes. 1/8 down. So I connect those 2 lines, and that's called the midline.
Okay, so he... Okay, so I'm going with, no, just to help me, I'm going to run a square line off the center line through my PAP. I mean, I know he's a pro and he kind of just can look at it and do it, but not me. So the center line that goes from the pin to the PSA, I just drew a square line off of, just perfectly square off of this center line. I went over and just ran through the center of where my PAP is going to be, so that I have a line to square off of to go in whatever direction I need to go in. I don't even know if it's right yet, but we'll see. So my PAP is 5 3/8 over by 1.5 inches down. So I need to go 1.5 inches up. I might as well make the line. Inch and a half up. And then he connected the... Okay, then he connected where the finger holes are going to the line that I just made. That's wrong. See, I shouldn't have done that. No, it's really it's like a 16th off. So you don't have to be, he just kind of eyeballed it and was like, "Yep, that's up. Okay, across." I use this little reference line to just kind of have something to square off of. And you can see like it kind of, the lines kind of come together. But if I was to turn that and get it square, it's only a 16th off, so if you're in the ballpark, you're good. Next step.
It's a horizontal line that goes through his finger holes. I draw the VAL perpendicular to that, VAL, and I gotta come back my 6 inches. Just way over here.
Wait, what?
So, 6 inches. I draw the VAL, connect those two lines, and that's called the midline.
Yeah.
It's a horizontal line that goes through his finger holes. I draw the
VAL squared off of this line. Okay, squared off of that line through the PAP. Vertical axis line. That's VAL. Maybe that's why I didn't do those other lines, because now it's getting quite confusing. Now I kind of see we're just going to map backwards now.
perpendicular to that, VAL, and I gotta come back my 6 inches. Just way over here.
Okay. So we did the. Okay.
The center of his grip is going to be.
So he skipped ahead. I see what he did. He skipped ahead. So usually you go over, like mine, 5 3/8 over, 1.5 inch down. We kind of did the 1.5 inch thing first before we even drew the VAL. Usually you draw the lines and then, on the normal layout system. But I see what he's doing. Alright, so now that's my VAL. Now I come back 5 3/8. Square a line off of that. And there's the center of my grip. One-eighth. A finger hole. Oh shit, look at that, huh? Oops. No swears. No swears, Jason. One of my finger holes is one of my old finger holes that I just plugged. Not exactly, but pretty close. And because I'm drilling half on and half off, that's definitely going to be a weak spot because there's a cold seam there running all the way down. But I don't really care about the longevity of this ball. This is to learn. And once I learn how asymmetrical balls need to be laid out and what the differences between the PSA and pin locations are, you know, I'll buy a ball that I actually want to keep, drill it correctly, and use it forever. But this is for science, as Mr. Moe says. So I'm not going to show the drilling, but I'm going to drill it. And the next chance we get, we'll go up to Malden, give it a whirl, and see if it's any better, if it's any more usable. It should be. It should be a lot weaker than it was. And I see what he was doing here with choosing how far above the pin is from where your fingers are. Because I've noticed the further the pin is up and away, because I've done some layouts where the pin was like way up here. You know, like way up there. And those balls, they shoot down the lane and they break hard. Like really hard. And I notice on other ball layouts that I've had where the pin was lower and closer to the fingers, it wasn't like that super hard off the spot kind of. It was more smooth and archy. So I see what he did there. So yeah, that's it. That's it, guys. The ball's been changed around. We learned from Mr. Moe. We tried the new layout system. And next chance I get, we'll go test it out. See what the results were. So that's it for this time, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time.